Hey, welcome back to TWiP PRO Photo Critique number 62. This is TWiP. Hey folks, welcome back to another TWiP PRO Photo Critique. This is going to be an interesting one. This one's kind of earthy for some reason. The topic, you know, I'm trying my hand out at comedy. The topic of this critique, or the subject, was Earth. And you would think that Earth is a, you know, kind of a simple topic, but it turns out it was challenging. It was really good, which is the whole point of doing these critique sessions and using the topics, is to force people outside of their comfort zone. So here to talk about this week's submissions is my good friend, partner in crime, and fellow nitpicker, Mr. Troy Miller. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Earth, huh? The final frontier. What do you think?
You know what? It was challenging. It was extremely challenging, and I want to give kudos to everybody who tried. I mean, there was conversation in TWiP. There was, you know, people giving each other advice about subjects to shoot, and a lot of people rose to the challenge. And you know, thumbs up and kudos to all you guys.
I agree. It
wasn't easy. This was not easy.
And when I was thinking, I mean, I put the whole Earth, Wind, and Fire sort of theme together. When I was thinking of Earth, in my demented head, I guess, I was thinking Earth, you know, well, this one should be easy because everything is Earth, technically, right? I mean, for the most, unless it's another planet or an asteroid or a star or something like that, everything came from the Earth for the most part. So if you wanted to argue a point, you could say, hey, here's a shot of a pencil, and this pencil is made of wood and lead, and those are elements that, you know, you know. Nobody wanted to go the obvious route. Like, everybody, I think, wanted to be like, they're like, okay, all right, so that would be the easy route, but you know what? I want to do better than that. And I think that everybody really pushed. And I think that's why these themes and these challenges are so fun, is to see. And I have to admit, like, I had a busy week and I thought, I'm going to put something in. I got to have something for Earth. And I came down to the last day and I'm like, I got nothing. And I'm not going to go take a picture of the ground. Right,
and
right.
turn that in, you
right.
know?
Yeah.
You know, I brought my Earth with me. I brought my clay mug, you know,
Yeah.
came from the Earth, but no, it was challenging, and I think that it was a good challenge. I look forward to the next one, because what's the next one? Wind?
The next topic is wind. Wind.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Yeah, wind. I'm really excited about that. I want to see how people interpret wind, right? Because you can't see it, so you can only photograph the effects of it, right? So it should be interesting.
See, but I already have ideas for wind. I already have ideas for how to shoot wind. So maybe, to me, it feels like that one might be a little bit easier.
All right. Oh, well, what are your ideas? People are like, you know, come on, share them.
Yeah. Well, okay, so wind moves objects, and objects look really good in long exposure. So, you know, like moving trees, like a long exposure where the trees are moving, or long landscape exposures where the clouds are streaking across the sky. I mean, I see that as wind motion in a ribbon or something on a playground, and there's like a ribbon or a kite, and the kite's, you know, blurred in motion because it's moving because of the wind.
Yep.
I see stuff like that. That's how I see wind.
Yeah,
so.
Me too. Yeah, I agree. The effects of wind.
Yeah. And you guys, anybody can use that idea. Go ahead and do that one, and just, you know, you'll do it way better than me anyway. So
yeah, we'll see. This is going to be good. Next week, wind is the topic.
Yeah, wind.
But this week it's terra firma. It is Earth. It is Earth. You ready to dive in?
I'm ready. I'm looking at images now.
All right, here we go. Let's take a look. We are in TWiP PRO, the photo critique area. The first one up is from Warren Luz. Let's take what Warren Luz says. Madame Pele from 500 feet as the Earth forms.
Oh, wow. From 500 feet. So it must be from the crater. No, you guess you could fly a drone, but
yeah,
probably not a good idea.
Come back with melted parts, right?
Yeah, well, there's also gas. There's also there's all this gas that's lighter than
right.
air, and the drones don't like lighter than air.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You know, whenever I see a shot of lava like this, it kind of takes me aback a little bit because, like you said, this is new Earth being formed.
Oh yeah,
Like this is brand new, you know, sort of virgin Earth just coming out, and it's going to be here for, you know, if we're lucky, for billions of years after this, and it is brand new. So it's almost an honor to see it flowing out like this.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's beautiful. I've never got to see it. I actually went to Hawaii to try to photograph it during the big eruptions. Never got close.
I remember that. Who'd you go out there with? Who was that?
Peter Levshin, and we went out to see Don Herzler, which you interviewed.
Don, yes, Don, who's I was thinking of. Yeah, Don. Yeah, who was a madman. Who's like, he in a good way. He is a madman, and he is the personification of, like, I don't know, Bond, James Bond with a camera. He puts
Walter Mitty to shame. Yeah,
yeah, Walter Mitty. Yeah. Love it.
You can check out Don's stuff at what is it, Lava Light Galleries. I think him and his buddy CJ.
Or just go on TWiP and search thisweekinphoto.com and search for Don Herzler, and you'll find the interview I did with him, a gallery of his images, and links over to his website. So
yeah.
So what'd you think of this shot? What'd you think? I mean, like just from a photographic standpoint, I think definitely subject matter wise, it nails Earth. You know, so this is Earth checkbox.
Yep.
But now from a photographic, you know, artistic and compositional standpoint, what do you think?
I love the composition, the horizontal lines. I like that. The lava, the editing is handled really well. Oftentimes, you know, it's overexposed because it's black and it doesn't come across real well. My biggest challenge with this image is it doesn't look sharp. I don't see sharpness in here, and I think that, you know, however it was shot, it looks like the foreground is maybe sharper than actually the lava point itself. Mm-hmm. But it looks soft. Maybe it's cropped out of a bigger image or something, but it's not sharp. So, you know, I really struggle with that. I mean, I love the concept, and I'm very jealous because I have no lava shots. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I was wondering if the lack of sharpness, because like we say, your eye goes to the brightest point in the image, and this one it's that the red hot lava in the upper right of the rule of thirds there, and that does seem to be a bit soft, right? So
yeah. And, you know, the exposure's handled extremely well. That lava, those hot points tend to overexpose. Red tends to overexpose. So the image is handled phenomenally well. I just think that it's out of focus, or maybe it's been cropped, or you're shooting through atmosphere. So if you're shooting into the crater and there's gas in there and you're shooting through the gas, it can be very, very difficult to get a sharp image sometimes because
shooting through heat distortion.
The
heat.
Yeah,
just the heat, the heat sort of rippling up, messing things up. So yeah, it could be any of those.
Yep.
Yeah. But cool shot.
Yeah. Well, Warren's from Honolulu, so we should go visit and do some more lava.
I know. I wonder if Kyle Nishioka's out there. Is he in Honolulu or somewhere else? What island is Kyle on? I haven't heard from Kyle lately.
Yeah.
Kyle Nishioka.
Just Kyle and his models.
I know. Kyle Nishioka, TWiP member. If you're listening and watching this, where are you? Here's Joshua Sommerfeld. What's up, Joshua? He said, decided to change my submission for Earth topic at the last moment. Hope I'm not too late. You're not. I shot this at Riverbanks Botanical Garden in Colombia, overlooking the Saluda River immediately before a thunderstorm. I love that time. This is 7 exposure brackets from -3 EV to +3 EV merged to HDR in Photoshop. Let's take a look.
Oh, wow.
This is the proper use of bracketing. Let's see if Mighty will let this come up.
You know, I've found that bracketing HDRs are far less necessary with today's cameras than they used to be. We have so much latitude. I did a wedding. I bracketed it just in case during the ceremony. And when I got back, I'm like, oh, I'll just pick the middle image and pull the highlights back in, and it was beautiful. I was like, okay.
Yeah. And some apps like Aurora and Luminar allow you to just take that one image with all that depth and create HDR effects from it without having to bracket and do multiple shots.
Yeah,
that's interesting how far things have come now. Like, I mean, it's interesting you draw a circle around that, because it's back in the day, a couple of years ago, HDR was, I mean, it was the polarizing, and still is a kind of a polarizing topic, where purists would say high dynamic range photography is specifically designed to help you better realize the range of the scene and more approximate what the human eye can see, because our brain does HDR automatically by itself.
Right.
But its HDR is to make a realistic scene, not to create artistic interpretations of the shot, right? So and that looks like what Joshua did here. He created realism from, a scene that may not have been rendered by his camera in a single shot, but he was able to get the shot and sort of convey that pre-thunderstorm, moisture in the air, quiet feeling with using HDR. I think that's an artist that is mastering their tools.
Right. No, you absolutely have to know how to do that and use it when it's appropriate.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking to this image, I like the composition. I really like what's going on here. I like the tree in the center, and I like the water flowing around and the highlights at the bottom. I think that where I struggle with this is I don't have a core center of focus, because there's so much green and the highlights are muted, and the sky is dramatic, but it's also a bit muted. So I think that we need to increase, if it's an HDR, we should have a lot more dynamic range. Now, maybe Mighty's compressing that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think like the highlights in the water should be peak, right? Near blown out or much brighter.
You just want to see it pop more, a little more clarity, a little bit more saturation and a little bit more clarity, just have an overall more pop to the image, right?
Yes.
But in Joshua's defense, maybe he was trying to avoid that, because the feeling of a pre-storm rolling in is kind of low contrast and undersaturated when that storm is rolling in, right?
Well, but are we going for realism, or are we going for artistic interpretation? I mean, I think that's a lot. You can be somewhere in between. But I mean, I love the image. And the only other issue that I see is along the tree line on the left, there are some trees that don't quite line up properly. There's one that has a weird little shadow. It's like from the far left, it's like the little third tree along the ridge on the right. And then some of the tops of the trees are dark, and they probably shouldn't be because of the HDR. So it makes sense that there would be some dark trees, but it looks like the top edges of those trees are still a little bit too dark, and that's hard. HDRs are tough, especially with trees. Really, really, really tough.
You need a nitpickery hat. So whenever you start nitpicking like that, you put on this nitpickery hat.
Yeah, it's really tough. No, I mean it really is, and this is what I see when I look at my images. I'm like, oh, I can't stack those because I'm not willing to go in and clone out or fix out each leaf. I'm not doing it.
If Craig Colvin's watching this, you know what he would have done in a shot like this.
I do, right on that log right in the front and center.
Yep. There would have been a model right there, probably a nude model right there on that, right in the front and center. And the whole thing would have been high contrast, black and white or something.
Yeah. Joshua, try making this one, black and white, and push the contrast and try to bring focus on that center tree. That'll get rid of the darker areas and then push those highlights. Expand the contrast range a little bit. See what that does.
Throw a really subtle vignette on there just to sort of draw our eye into that middle tree. Make the middle tree the hero of the shot.
Yeah. I think he has that. I just don't think there's enough pop in the image.
Cool work, though. Joshua, thank you for submitting. All right, Michael Morrison's up next. And Michael Morrison says, Iceland, volcanic, young, and earthy. The puffins pose for me in profile and portrait modes at the same time. The Vic Black beach in the background created a nice backdrop for the scene. Nice. Puffins. Bring up these puffins. Love puffins. Puffins are the coolest. I love they always have this sort of pensive, empathetic look on their faces.
Yeah. very whimsical in nature. Yeah, they make a great cartoon character.
They do. They do. It goes, tell me what's bothering you today.
What's funny is that, you know, we think the puffin on the right is looking at us. In reality, the puffin on the left is looking at us. They look out the side of their head.
Exactly.
Because they're prey, right? I mean,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, they don't really see straight ahead. And the other puffin doesn't even know we're there.
That's right.
He's like, what are you looking at?
Exactly. Have you seen that hill right there I'm looking at right now?
Yeah, this is Tom and Jerry, and they come out here and watch the sunset every day. And,
nice. See, now you're starting to think like me, making up these little stories about shots in your head. See, you even named the puffins Tom and Jerry. Look at that.
I think this all the time. I just don't say it out loud.
Oh, you have an inner monologue. I have an outer monologue.
Oh, dear.
I love it. All right. So we digress. We're like rat hole people. Looking at the shot, what do you think? Definitely Earth. Definitely fits into the category of Earth, because these, like I said, everything will fit into Earth, right?
Yeah,
everything is Earth.
Yeah, this is cool. So one of these days, maybe I'll go to Iceland. I don't know. Everybody's been there. Like, do I need to go? I don't know.
I think you need to go. I think we need to go. I want to go. I want to go to Iceland while it's still Iceland.
Let's plan a trip. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yes.
Okay, anyway, move on. Let's forget I said that.
Who in TWiP Pro wants to go to Iceland with us if we did a TWiP Pro workshop in Iceland? Who would go? Raise your hands in the comments.
That would be so rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a TWiP Pro meetup in Iceland.
Mm-hmm. Hunting puffins. I wonder what puffins taste like.
They taste like those peanut marshmallows you get during Easter. You know, those little orange.
The peeps. The peeps.
The peeps. No. Well, maybe the peeps. They taste like peeps.
Okay. You go with peeps. I'm gonna go with chicken. These guys gotta taste like chicken.
Maybe they didn't know what chicken tastes like, so that's why everything tastes like chicken.
Exactly, the Matrix. See, nerd alert, nerd alert.
Yeah, we digress. Okay, Michael. I love your image. I envy the fact that you were there. Couple suggestions on this guy. I would crop it square. Get rid of that sky. Let's just keep that green in the background. And then I don't know if it's natural in the image or something that you did, but it looks like it's very heavy vignetted in the top right corner, and then the lower left of Tom, it's very bright, and I want to see the tones more continuous in the image and more even throughout with a slight vignette.
I was going to say that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, just a vignette, because we want to be drawn into Tom and Jerry in the middle,
right,
and not distracted from them.
Yeah, and the highlights feel like they're blown out a little bit, like on the puffins themselves. And being that this is an A7R3, there's got to be latitude in there. So,
I wonder what he processed this in. Interesting. Does it say? Does he put in here? No, he doesn't say what he processed it in. Interesting. Tell us. Let us know what you. I'm sorry, Michael. Michael, let us know what you processed this in.
Yeah. He's in Trabuco Canyon. He's in my old stomping grounds. He's like close to me. He's in my neck of the woods, my end of the universe.
There you go, Southern California. All right, Trey Nelson's up next, and Trey Nelson says Sony A7R. Was that A7? I don't know the A7 series.
Might be the first A7R.
Okay, with a Zeiss Context Yashica 182.8 shot in Murchison National Park in Uganda. Wow, you see, I want to go there too. Living vicariously.
She loved it.
I love it. Shot in Uganda along a road that you would not have been able to drive on 10 years prior due to heavy presence of Lord's Resistance Army, Joseph Kony's violent extremist organization, made more famous in the movie Machine Gun Preacher. Never saw that. In the area along the same road, there were families murdered and burned in their cars along the nearly 7-kilometer stretch. This goes to show that time can heal old wounds. The animal population was healthy once again. A few animals were hunted into near extinction, such as the hartebeest, due to being a favorite meal amongst the group. There are also 7 pride families of lions. in the park. As a fun fact. Wow, look at this. Okay, now that I'm thoroughly depressed. Okay, now let's look at this shot. But I love those kind of write-ups about these shots because we never would have known, you know, if Trey had not written that up and told us a little bit of the history around this, about the surroundings of why it's important that these animals are still there and that are here, we never would have, you know, we would have said, oh, yeah, nice shot of some animals, probably in Africa, you know. But we wouldn't have had the context of knowing what's going on, you know, along with this being a shot that he captured exceedingly well. So,
Right. Yeah, this is a beautiful image. I really love the storytelling that's going on in here. I think for me, I wish it was black and white and more contrasty because I think the shapes of the elephants themselves would pop out. But I'm just, you know, maybe that's just me projecting everything black and white because there's I'm trying to think of the photographer, Nick. I think it's Nick Brandt or something like that, that does a lot of big elephant black and whites, and his stuff is just amazing. And I see that when I see elephants, I think his work. So, but in this image, one of the things that I see is it looks to me like it was heavily burned down in the sky.
The sky, yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. And that really mutes the vibrance that could be in the image. You know, I mean, it kind of depresses the tonal range.
I think I would have been okay with that if he had maybe brought the elephants up a little bit. You know, it made them pop out just a little, not so much that they look fake, but just so that they're just less blended into the background because we got that sort of like you said, the burned in sky. It looks like a gradient or something on the sky. And then the elephants are also kind of grayish in almost the same palette as the upper right hand corner. So I would love to have seen those elephants with a little bit more saturation or at least a little bit more clarity and bring the shadows up a little bit just to bring them out of the background a little bit because they're kind of hiding in there. The other piece is that you see that hitchhiker in there?
Where?
On the elephant on the right. I think there's a hitchhiker on his back.
Oh, there's a little bird in there. Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
You know, this image would be a perfect image for Capture One and luminosity masking because you could select the elephant separately and you could select the sky separately. And then instead of making the sky, you know, burning it down and just making it gray, you could make it blue and bring the brightness down a little bit, right? And then you could take the elephants themselves and bring them out, and you could take the green. So there's three separate elements in there that you could very easily select with either color selection or luminosity masking. I can see Capture One just loving this image.
Love it. Very cool. We got some Earth shots. What an homage to Earth on Tax Day today, huh?
Oh, was today?
It is April 15th, buddy.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see. Armando Brook is up next. Armando says, with his image, I represent my view of Earth with hope we need. Yes.
Armando's always so philosophical. I love it.
He is. I love these shots. I've always wanted to do a shot like this where it is, you know, of the lone tree sitting on a hill crest.
Yeah, look at where you live. You have tons of these around you.
And they taunt me every time I'm driving. Every time I hop on the highway, I see them every 5 seconds. I'm like, I need to pull over and take a shot of this tree. This tree just looks cool, you know. I always want to do a shot of a tree like this, black and white, high contrast, with someone sitting at the base of it reading a book.
Infrared.
Or infrared. There you go.
Yes. Oh, infrared. I got so many of those. They're beautiful from Napa and area.
I love it. All right, let me channel you on this shot. Can I do a channel?
Okay.
I want to do Troy Miller channeling. All right, I'm putting on my hat, putting on my beanie. All right, here we go. Okay, so Troy Miller would say he would crop this image up from the bottom because the out of focus soft foreground, you don't know what it is. You're not exactly sure what it is, and it's distracting from the main subject, which is obviously the tree. Although he likes the swath of color, which is sort of the brownish oranges and the greens in the middle and the blue sky, I like the sandwiching of color The fact that there's not enough depth of field in order to make out what's in the foreground is distracting, so I'd probably just crop that out of there. Secondly, the top of the frame may be a little bit close to the top of the tree and probably would have left a little more room in there so it's not so crowded.
Ouch.
And maybe move the tree over just a tad just to give it a little bit more room, but that's nitpicking. And maybe a little bit too contrasty. Probably will pull the contrast back just a little bit so there's detail right above the horizon and the grass didn't seem so crunchy. Is that what Troy Miller would have said?
Yeah. What else am I going to say? You left me nothing.
I know you, man. I know you. Anything else, Troy Miller?
You know, I don't know. I just have to make stuff up at this point. No.
Gotcha. Well, you could say I'd want to make this black and white. I left that for you because
I like the color. I like the color.
I do. I like the color as well. No, I love it. Yeah, I probably would have cropped up from the bottom, unless you could see more. And if you could see more of that foreground, I'm guessing those are like flowers or some kind of flora in the foreground. If you could see those, then I'd probably want to stretch it out a little bit more to make it more of a panoramic shot. Because I think, you know, a shot like this wants to be wide. It just feels like an expanse, and it wants to be longer and wider.
Yeah, I mean, and it would be really cool if you could get the camera angle higher so that the grass or whatever that foreground orange yellow is out of focus from the very bottom of the frame all the way up to the tree as opposed to the orange. Yeah, because I think that's very cool. It does look a little overexposed. And I would probably try to pull down the highlight above the horizon just to put some detail in there. I don't know if that blue is natural or if you pulled in a vignette to make the blue, but that contrast is just not distracting. It's less preferable in my brain.
Yep, I hear you.
But I love the shot. I love the colors in there. I wouldn't do it black and white.
What do you think? What do you think about the framing? Because he put a key line on it and kind of did sort of a Polaroid feel to it with a you know, a lot of white space at the bottom of the frame. Left that in there.
Is there white space? Oh, there is a white space. I didn't click on it until just now. You know, I like that. I don't know that we need that heavy space on the bottom, but I do like the key line. I think the key line is really nice, and I do like the intention to presentation. I mean, that to me is super nice. I like to see images finished. So this feels very finished to me. And like maybe in that space at the bottom, you could put the title of the image. You know, it would feel done. I like that.
Yep. Very cool.
Very nice, Armando.
Thank you, Armando. All right. Next up is Steve Van Sickle. Steve says, Roots. I took this today while walking with my friend over the Bluebell Trail at Blue Run Park, Northern Virginia, submitting this for the Earth theme. Cool.
Man, I wish I had something like this near me to go walk through.
Oh, these roots, exposed roots.
Just outside. Holy crap, this is so cool.
You can almost hear that water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can hear water.
You're gonna say black and white. I know it. Let me just preempt you.
I am.
I knew it.
And to be fair, you know, like what I see in this image, Steve, is I see two images. I see above the water line and below the water line, and I see above the water line in the trees. I see all these amazing patterns of branches against the sky. And those could be color, it could be black. Just this random pattern of life. I could see that. But the roots are the same way. Like I see this abstractness in the roots. And if we were to crop in close, get just in the roots, a little bit of the trunk, nice and tight, very abstract-y, very black and white in contrast so that we just see all these tendrils. That's where my brain goes with this.
Yeah. I agree. 100%. Yeah, I would love to see a little bit more of the canopy of the tree as well, but then you know, depending on the focal length of the lens he's using, the roots are the subject, the obvious subject, so you'd be losing those.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough in this image that you could crop out the upper the upper half of the image and a quadrant and edit it, and then do the same thing for the lower. And literally, you have two separate images in this type of thing.
Yeah.
Those abstract shapes, I think, are just so cool.
Yeah, I love it. Abstract and organic.
Yeah, and then stack them in some weird way. Stack them in a very Julian Cost abstract storytelling.
There you go. Love it. All right. Moving right along. Thank you, Steve Van Sickle. Laura Patton's up next. Lauren doesn't have a caption on this one. I love these comments, though. Michael DeRay says, this could pass for a city in the mountains of Middle Earth. Eric Kronsky says, awesome lighting and composition. Very cool. Let's take a look. Yeah, I thought that, too. When I saw this, I thought, underground cave, maybe some gnomes living in there.
Yeah. The lighting is handled really well. I like that. I like the intentional direction of light. I think it's a little harsh. Again, maybe that's Mighty compressing it a little bit.
No, it is. I think it is. Just a little bit. Yeah, you can look on the right side of those lower mushrooms. The highlights are sort of blown out.
Yeah, but I mean, I just it's such an interesting story, and I don't know scale even. I don't know how big these are. Like I can guess kind of from the moss, but that's what's neat about this is that I don't know what the scale is. I know that
because we don't know that, I'm going to make up scale in my head and say that these are the size of umbrellas.
I'm going to say that moss is
they're radioactive. They're growing near Chernobyl, and they're the size of umbrellas. That's what's going on here.
Yeah, no. Okay.
No. You're like, no, I don't think so. No, and I love the moss. Yeah, the juxtaposition of the color, the greens and the browns, and then the kind of the beigeish color of the mushrooms on there.
Yeah. Definitely good interpretation of Earth. I like that.
For sure. Do you you're a hiker, earthy kind of guy, right? Can you tell the difference between a poisonous mushroom and an edible mushroom? Like not edible in terms of psychoactive, but the ones that you can cook with and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you just look for bodies around where the mushrooms are.
Dead bodies. The bodies are a dead giveaway.
Yeah. If there's like squirrels laying everywhere, like maybe you shouldn't eat those. No, I have no idea.
Yeah, me either.
If they come in the grocery store, they're probably safe. Other than that, anything that's in nature, I don't put it in my mouth.
There you go. But in reality, like we talked about before, you are actually in nature. So, a grocery store is part of nature. Just saying. Because man made it, and we're part of nature. Let's move down. Thomas Aaron is up next, and Thomas Aaron, thank you, Laura, for that shot, by the way. Thomas Aaron says, "The dark side of the earth." I have to put I got to go into my my narration voice here. Looking on the bright side is great, but we can't afford to ignore the dark side. So I took a picture of it to help us visualize the problem. Here is Earth, overlaid with lustfulness, gluttony, greediness, slothfulness, anger, jealousy, and arrogance, which are the roots of hatred, bigotry, abuse, corruption, violence, war, theft, destruction, and lack of stewardship.
Did you get my wind effect? Did you hear my wind effect?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear it.
I tried to make like a dramatic wind effect in the background while you did that.
Oh, I love it. Look at this.
Well,
this is creepy. Wow. This is what you don't want to see in your toilet. That's right. This is bad news.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is like just like a bucket of soap and he got all creative with it and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know where this came from. But
I know. This is an alien egg getting ready to burst out or something. This is crazy. Yeah. That's photography, though, right? You can do shots like this and.
No, I mean, because
you're right. This could just be a shot of dish soap, and he cut it out and added shading on the lower right. So
I'm pretty sure that's what he did. I'm gonna guess, but I'm pretty sure. I wish there were stars in the background.
Yes, it's full of stars.
Full of stars.
I was there first. I
had a dramatic pause for mine.
Oh, there you go. It's full of stars. Very cool. Very cool shot. Love it. I love what people are doing. The creativity's coming out in TWiP Pro. No one's afraid anymore.
No, I know.
All right.
Afraid though.
Up next is Mark Harris. And Mark Harris says, she flows from the sea, a blended image for the Earth theme. This is a blended image. Let's take a look. Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you've done here. I can kind of see a crisp line. You see that crisp line at the top?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, like in the, well, not at the very, very top.
Yeah,
but like
kind of at the lower, the upper third.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with seeing what is all going on in there. I'm not sure what that line represents. And I mean, I understand the story of the water.
He's going abstract and close up on this.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not getting it. I'm kind of looking around. I'm lost. There's like out of focus lower right hand corner, in focus top left hand corner. We got that little watery space in there. Maybe he cloned in the water in a rock shot or something.
Yeah. That's a good point. If you see a shot like this where you kind of get lost in, you're like, what was the photographer trying to tell me? What are they trying to tell me with this shot? Does that, well, prefacing the whole thing with photography is subjective, right? So there's no one right answer for the most part, unless there's an egregious error in there. But when you look at a shot like this, is it right or is it wrong? You know, from the standpoint of, well, like you said, I'm not sure where the photographer was going. Does that mean that the shot failed because you don't know where it's going as a viewer, or is it just that you just don't get it? We're just not in his head.
Well, you know, that's kind of up to the artist. I mean, I've made images that I absolutely intentionally want everybody to be so confused that they don't understand what's in it. And then that's success for me. And then, of course, there's other images that I've tried to be clever and people don't get it. And to me, that wasn't successful. So we don't know because, you know, Mark could have been, hey, I'm going to confuse the crap out of these guys so they have nothing to talk about. And maybe that's what he's done here, right? Like, I don't know, and not being the creator. I love the textures and I like what we're looking at, but I'm not quite sure of what the photographer's trying to tell me with it.
Yeah, this one could benefit from a caption, from a deeper caption.
Yeah, or make it black and white and add grain, and then
that always works, right? That's the magic sauce. That's like putting putting steak sauce on something.
A1. You got to put A1 on everything.
You put A1 on everything. Makes everything get better. All right. Next shout out. Thanks, Mark Harris. Next shout out is from Michael Rhino. And Michael Rhino says, my Earth photo is one that I took last Sunday evening. My wife, dog, and I visited Great Sand Dunes National Park for the day after hiking up to Star Dune, which is the highest dune in North America. We were driving back and I noticed the clouds in the sky were beginning to break along the horizon. We enjoyed watching the resulting sunset develop. I chose this one as it has several elements of Earth, including grasses, plenty of sand, mountains, snow, etc. This is a 4-shot panorama stitched together in Lightroom. Look at that.
Dang, man.
That's a cool shot. That reminds me of the Remarkables in New Zealand.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
It's a mountain range that looks like this, kind of.
Oh, this is awesome. I just looking around. I love the sort of mirroring of the sand dunes and then the mountains behind it. And then we have these 3 wonderful actually 4 elongated triangles. You got the sky, then the mountains, then the sand dunes, and then the foreground. The foreground's not really a triangle, but you can see how the sky, the big mountains, and the sand dunes are these long triangles that oppose each other, right? Like a nice balance.
Yeah. Yeah, this one draws you in for sure. It definitely draws you in. I wish there was something in the foreground or on that dune that gave you a sense of the scale and in the grandeur of the scene.
Monster. This is big.
Yeah,
this is really big.
Yeah,
this is really big. I don't know that I would leave the foreground in there. I might crop it off at the sand dunes. I think that cleans it up a little bit. I don't think that foreground element needs to be in there. But I love the story that's going on in here. You got that sunlight from the left coming in, hitting the peak on the right. I wished we had a little bit more foreground contrast because I feel like it just kind of falls flat. We lose the sand dunes.
Yeah.
But what an amazing image. This is one of those that I want to see big. I want to see it printed big.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, printed big, right? Hanging. This is definitely a wall hanger.
Yeah, on a D850 with 4 horizontal shots. That's a 100 meg file, no problem. It's going to go big.
Wow. Look at that. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Rhino definitely captured the Earth right there, for sure. All right. Moving right along. Speaking of more Earth, here's Mike Doran. And Mike Doran says, Yosemite National Park, Earth. Look at that.
See, Yosemite always needs to be in black and white. That's
nah, not necessarily. But yes,
this looks like Bridalveil Falls. I'm trying to figure out where that is. It looks like Bridalveil Falls shot from the other side. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where this is. Cool waterfall shot though.
Yeah, I think a little bit heavy-handed on the sky, somewhat.
Does
it look like, do you think that sky was there, or did he put that in there?
No, I mean, I think it was probably there. It looks like it was burned in pretty heavy because you can see the peak of the rock on the right. See how the top of the rock is really dark, and then it fades off right at the horizon, the mountain horizon. It looks like that was all burned down, so maybe the sky was burned down really heavy to bring that in. You got to watch out for that bleed, of dodging and burning into the rocks in the landscape from the sky.
Yeah.
I almost wish that we had more to the left of the frame so the waterfall wasn't crowded, because I think the waterfall is really our subject here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, those are exactly right on the head. Those are my two, I guess, nitpicks would be, I wish we had more space to the left or to the right of the waterfall. And the sky is distracting me from the subject, which I think in this case is that waterfall. It's either the waterfall or that big rock face.
Right. I wonder, I'd love to know what waterfall that is, because I just can't place a waterfall from that side. So most of the waterfalls, you're on the right side of the waterfall shooting in, but it looks like Bridalveil Falls.
Yeah.
So very cool, Mike.
All right, Mike Doran. Very cool.
Yeah, and it's not a motorcycle turning left.
It's not motorsports.
Bravo.
Although he probably got there in a sports car or something.
Well, I think there was a comment in that one. Somebody had made a comment that they're looking for a car or a bike.
Yeah. Michael DeRay said, "This is truly beautiful photo of Mike Doran, but I still find myself searching for the car or bike in it." And Mike's like, "You two are funny."
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, next shot. Craig Stanfill's up. Craig says, "Earth." From Brisbane, Australia. Look at this. Getting in close. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? Anything is Earth.
Yeah.
This is Earth. This is definitely Earth.
Why is this Earth, Frederick? Tell us why this is Earth.
Because it came from Earth. Everything in here was created on this planet, unless you can prove otherwise, right?
He's being more clever than that. That's a grounding rod right there.
Oh, well, do tell. Educate me.
Yeah, so a grounding rod is, every house has a grounding rod. That's where, your ground fault interruption is. So basically you have to literally ground your electrical system in case there's shorts or electrical strikes or things like that. So this is a giant copper rod that runs down into the ground that from the electrical system, that wire that you see right there connects to that and grounds into the earth, because that's your negative, your neutral.
Oh, look at that. I see corrected. I did not know that.
I mean, but there's brick that was made from clay, which is earth, and but he's being clever with the grounding rod, so I like that. That's really cool.
That was a test. That's a down under test to see if we were going to get it up here, up over, right?
Yeah. We all have grounding rods, by the way. So
yeah. Love it.
A lot of people just don't know that they're there.
Very cool. All right, thank you, sir. Brisbane, Australia. Next shot up is from Freddy Sodano, Eye of the World. Let's take a look at this.
I freaking dig this. This is so cool.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Yeah, this is pretty cool. You know, everything from the what is that? Do you know what that mountain sort of hill?
Yeah, that's Morro Rock.
Morro Rock. Is that in Morro Bay?
Yep. Morro Bay. Yep.
Morro Bay. Okay. Morro Bay, California. Yes, I've seen that many times.
North side. This would be the north side of Morro Bay.
Yeah, I love it because you look at this and you think, what the heck is going on here? This is using that sort of panoramic polar coordinates, tiny planet technique, right? Yeah.
This is a really neat technique, and I like the fact that it's, the way that the mountain or the rock is centered at the bottom, and it's the pinnacle, and then the sky, and it's like looking into a dish that has, like earth, wind, sea, land and sea is in there. So I do wish that the outside edge was darkened, that it was more vignetted. I feel like the sand is much, much too bright.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you had brought that down just a little bit, because then that would draw us into the focal point of this image, which is going to be Morro Rock, right? So
Right. Yeah, not super heavy-handed in the vignette, but like a nice round, bring that outside edge so that we don't drift off the edge of the frame. But I dig it. This is definitely one of my favorites. I really like it.
Yeah, very cool. I've never done a shot like this, so maybe that's.
And there's no Lego characters in there. I'm looking to see if there's a.
Hey, there's still time. There's still time. Freddy could throw some Lego dragons or something in there in the comments. Yeah. Love it. All right, Freddy Sodano, Eye of the World. Thank you, sir. Speaking of tiny planets, Mark Charettes up next. Mark Charettes says, Planet Earth update. Boxhead has landed. I went for a walk with my wife and friend yesterday to Boxhead, which is the most southern point of the Central Coast in north-southwest. And the opening of Hawkesbury River and Brisbane Waters, what separates Central Coast from Sydney's North Head. I have no idea where that is. Shot this with his Canon 7D with a fisheye. Interesting. I thought this was something else. With a fisheye f8 at 1/60th, no bracketing, camera mounted, 3.8 meters and a light stand, 4 shots round. Remote shutter using Canon phone app. That's the only way you can see what's happening at the top of that pole. And he processed in Lightroom. This took him 20 minutes to set up. Let's take a look.
I'm not even sure how you do these.
Look at that. The tiny planets. I like this shot, man. I don't know. I like this shot a lot.
Wow. That is really interesting. That is very cool. You can see there's people, maybe people. Oh, there's cars at the bottom. Okay, I see. There's the shore there. The mountains off on the right. That's really cool. Right? I like how it's not perfectly round either. Like, you get sort of the texturing, the undulation of the earth.
And the trees breaking the horizon at the top.
Oh, yeah. Wow. It's really neat.
Yeah, this is really cool. I love this technique.
Wow.
And really well done. Yeah, and this is from someone who knows what they're doing for sure with this, because Mark is a 360 panorama expert. In fact, he's been on TWiP talking about that stuff. So.
Yeah, this is beautiful. This is beautifully well done. I mean, there's a nice vignette in the background, to keep us drawn into the center. It's well balanced. A little too much space on the bottom, maybe, but I'm just.
Yeah, maybe that's for text, right? That's text.
You're always thinking commercial, like there's gonna be copy there.
Yeah. Cool. This is cool. This is another kind of shot I want to try doing. By the way, this is.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice. Yeah, I keep staring deeper and deeper. It's one of those images that, if this was printed like 60-inch square, you just keep looking at it and keep finding detail and things in there. So it's the waves, the ripples that are coming in on the beach at the bottom.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, if it was mine, I might have gone and taken those little cars out and any sort of like man-made object just to kind of make it look more sci-fi, ethereal kind of thing. But
yeah, I don't know. The cars kind of give you an idea of scale when you're looking at this, because you immediately see, oh, there's a car, so everything else is about this size.
But but in my mind, it gives me scale in the wrong direction. Like I want to picture this like the size of the Earth. Like I want to picture this super planet. And then the moment that I see those cars, I realize, oh, it's really small.
Got it.
Right? Like if those cars weren't there, this could be really big.
Yeah. Yeah. What a fun shot, though. I really like this.
Yeah,
one.
very nice.
I really, really like this shot. Very cool. Mark Charette. Look at that. Flexing his 360 muscle in TWiP Pro. All right. Eric Pronsky's up next. And Eric says, Uluru at sunset, also known as Ayers Rock in Central Australia. It's noted for its dramatic color at sunset. It really is this orange-red color. I chose to frame it with this tree branch because of the lack of detail in the sky. About 10 minutes later, the dramatic color was gone. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, good use of your surroundings. That's super good.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do that.
Yeah, look at that. I wonder what the geology of this is. Like, was it just some, like, what happened? Like, was it's just
chocolate
like
cake? It's all chocolate cake. That's why you can't go on it anymore. It's sacred. Too many people were taking bites out of the chocolate cake.
I was gonna say this is where cinnamon comes from. This is a cinnamon mound. They just go harvest out whenever they need a ton or so of it. Yeah, but like, where like, is this like pushed up from the ground? Is this iron based rock that just, you know, rusted and it just got pushed up, or like what's the geology going on here? It's crazy.
Oh, it's old. It's really old. So I'm wondering, yeah, whether it was the land around it was eroded and that was left standing. That's what I'm going to guess.
Maybe, yeah, because it's iron based and it's really hard or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think you can go. They used to be able to go on it. I don't think you can anymore. I think it's off. I think it's protected now.
Really, it's not off limits to my drone. I would never.
Maybe those native to Australia might want to clue us in.
Yeah, I know. I wonder what the laws are with drones in national parks down in Australia, because they're illegal here in national parks.
Right, fun is illegal in national parks.
Yes. All right, very cool. Great shots, man. Thank you, Eric Pronsky. Thank you and thanks everyone for all these shots today. These are
I know
inspiring.
Gives us a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm. This is our. Did we see this one last week? I feel like we saw this one.
The fisherman. Yeah. If for some reason your stuff is in a different order than mine.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the next one for me is the playground.
Okay, this one kind of got snuck in there somehow. Am I sorting right? Let me make sure. Oh, I'm sorting by the date created. Okay, there, or by last activity. Okay, so where are we? Yes, playground's next. Yeah, that was me. User error.
I'm glad I could point that out.
Thank you. This one, I can always count on you. This one's from Lamb. Lamb says, I woke up one morning and went straight to the balcony. Wow. The morning rising sun was very bright, casting long dark shadows of bald branches onto the children's playground. I quickly grabbed my Nikon 1V1 and captured it from my apartment on the 8th floor. The theme was Earth. The title is Good Morning with his Nikon 1V1. What's a Nikon 1V1?
I think it's that camera that looks like an old school film camera. You know,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. The retro camera. Yes.
The retro camera. Yeah, I think it's the retro camera.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep. Yeah, that thing's expensive. I remember giving Nikon crap about that because they put out that camera, took away a bunch of features, and then priced it $1,000 more than everything else. Mm-hmm. You were paying for that retro look. But great camera though. But yeah, they were trying something. I mean, you got to applaud Nikon for trying something different though.
Yeah, it was very cool. I looked at one at a show, and I looked at the guy, and I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Because it's cool." He goes, "It looks cool. It's nice. It's and I'm like, "Okay, makes sense. Not going to shoot weddings with it, but good camera."
This is their attempt at trying to grab some of Hasselblad's cachet.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So, what do you think of this shot?
I first thing, and I know it's going to sound cliche coming from Troy, but I really wish it was black and white. Mm-hmm. And what I would really love to see is I know that the little playground piece in there kind of adds to this, but if we crop that out and just go like a very contrasty black and white with the branches and the shadows of the branches, to me that would be a much stronger image because it would be very abstract.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, as it is, I like it. I think there's a lot of elements, a lot of things going on, but I think that the shadows are what's really the draw here.
Shadows are where it's at. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, you're right. If he brought up that contrast a little bit and went black and white with this, then it would emphasize those dark shadows, and
right.
And increase the contrast so that it became more literal, that the shadows and that the playground or the little playground structure were the subjects.
Right. He could do he could do a whole series from his 8th floor balcony of shadows at different times of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep shooting that same shot over and over and over as the grass changes, the weather changes, leaves on the trees, no leaves on the trees.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be a good little series, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I love shadows. I like the abstractness of all that.
For sure. All right. Very cool. Lamb, thank you so much, man. Very nice shot.
All right, where are we next?
I'm assuming Lamb is a guy. I'm not sure if Lamb is a guy. I said, thank you so much, sir. So,
yeah.
Michael Rhino.
We did that one.
Oh, we did Michael Rhino. See, I'm out of order now. Look at that.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm keeping tabs on you. You haven't missed anybody.
You keep me honest? All right, here we go.
Watching. Yeah, the next one is Michael DeRay.
Michael DeRay is next. Thank you. See, teamwork. There you go.
Yes, the snapshot artist that he is there.
Yes. Exodus Earth. Since I didn't participate in last week's critique, I figured I would dig extra deep into my inner strange for this week's 6 separate images merged as one. Wow. Yeah. Into the mind. Jeez. Look at this. Wow.
See, I'm not sure if that's a gateway, like, we walk down this light path into the gateway, or that's a destructive light beam shooting out of the Earth face, and those are people running away. I'm not quite sure.
Maybe it's the Earth and a cry for help, and the figures are ignoring it.
Okay,
that's what I see. I see the Earth saying, "Please stop killing me," and everyone else is like, "Yeah, whatever." Yeah.
I love this. This is definitely an image. I think that Michael, you're gonna have to change your little title there from snapshot artist to Master Strange or something.
Yeah, I like that. Dr. Strange. There we go.
I do. I mean, I do like this concept. I think that it's weird, which right away I love. Mm-hmm. Maybe crop up from the bottom. I don't think we need that whole bottom left. Crop right up so we still have some of the reflection disappearing, and then. Don't know if we need the face that strong.
Oh, you make the face a little more subtle?
Like almost unrecognizable, like you almost can't see it. Right? Like oh, hey, I think I see a face in there.
Oh yeah. Like, is that a face or is that a continent?
Right.
Very cool though, but definitely creative, huh?
I know, it's neat. I would love to see the individual pieces that it took to put this together.
Oh yeah, the raw materials of this shot.
Yeah, because we have some figures. We have the face. We have the Earth. It looks like a flashlight that was laid on a table or something to get that reflection, that horizon. That's 4. Maybe there's more than a couple shots for the figures and stuff in there, but
yeah. Very cool.
I like it.
I like it too. And it's framed. Look at that.
This could be like poster art for flat earthers.
There you go. Wait, the Earth is flat.
Well, like I said,
I can prove it. I have proof.
I proved it. I can prove it. Not if you look at Mark's image, it's not flat. So.
That's right. All right, here we go. All right, yeah. And the next one, do you have Mark Charettes as the next one?
Yeah, he's the last one.
All right, Mark. So we're not going to submit this one, but you did another one because this is your second shot, and we only allow one, as I mentioned in TWiP Pro.
Right.
Oh, cool. But this is using that same technique. It looks like, but we'll save that for another day. So what'd you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? What's your favorite out of all these shots?
Oh man,
I got mine. I got my favorite.
It changed. It really changed as I went through and I started looking at the images closer and closer. it's ironic though, because my first favorite was Eye of the World, and saying it that way obviously says I have another favorite. The Eye of the World was my first favorite, and then as I looked, the Planet Earth by Mark Charlotte is really my pick. I would say, and it's neat that they're both similar techniques.
Yeah.
Right. Like one's inside and one's outside. I just think that the one that Mark did, I like the texture and the bumpy earth, and I don't know. It speaks a little bit more to me. I like it. Feels a little more finished.
Yeah. I agree. I like I'm gonna have to go with you. Mark Charettes is the winner. Is the winner for me as well. I think, it's a literal interpretation of the planet, but it's just dang cool. I just like this kind of shot. It is really cool. It's abstract. It's well done. It's professional, and it pulls in earth, wind, fire, air, or no fire, but earth,
there's no fire,
sky, trees, rocks, all that stuff in, and it's just sort of floating in an atmosphere. I think this is really, really cool. Very well done.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, you could just put this on the back of a turtle. Put some background, some stars in there, and there you go.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Or just leave it like this. There you go. Frame it. Cool, man. What a great crop of shots we had this week, huh?
Crazy good. Good.
Yeah. Congratulations, everyone. You guys did a fantastic job.
Yes.
I'm excited to see what you come up with next week. And what's the topic again next week, Troy Miller?
Wind.
Let's see what you guys can do with wind. So, Earth, come on, that was easy, right? Everything's Earth, but wind, it's invisible.
I don't think Earth was easy. I think Earth was hard.
No, yeah, it was really hard. But they came through. Everyone came through for sure. So,
yep.
So now that you guys have seen, what the challenge was with Earth, and the people that didn't participate saw what others did with Earth, wind, right? Now you're ready to jump in. So jump in with wind and let us see what you're going to do. Troy Miller, you're going to submit this time too, right?
Ooh, am I? Maybe. I always intend to. I really do. I always intend to. But I don't always. But I will endeavor to try. So
all right.
I like the motion when we did with the fire and stuff. That was fun. So
yeah, no, that was cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. I will let you go. We are just at the hour mark.
Perfect.
Yeah, another great show. What any final remarks for the TWiP Pro members before we end this one?
You know what? Be creative. Think out of the box. Just let your creative juices inspire you to do something. Don't overthink it, but get out there and create something that maybe isn't easy for you. So
Love it. Sage words to live by from Troy Miller.
I don't know. I just make this stuff up as I go.
Well, you and the rest of the world. That's what we do. Cool, man. All right. Well, thank you a lot. Thanks a lot for your time today. And thanks a lot to all the folks that submitted shots for this week's TWiP Pro Photo Critique. And we'll see you next week.
Good job. See you guys.
All right. See you later. This is TWiP.